Hi everyone, I'm Kaiser Ryu, and the bad Xbox news just keeps coming. A couple of days ago, Xbox infamously raised the price of Game Pass Ultimate by 50% from $20 to $30, and now we're getting rumors of what could be the killing blow for Xbox: Microsoft pulling the plug on Xbox hardware. But it is more complicated than it may seem. Recently, three leakers chimed in on what's going on with Xbox. First one was Sneaker SO over on NeoGAF. So without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be in Q1 2026, by the way, and it's going to be just as massive as the last one. That's a bit unfortunate. Some rumblings out of Xbox started coming out that were a little hard to believe. The ramifications of the Call of Duty Game Pass gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. Now, if you don't know, apparently Call of Duty lost $300 million because it was on Game Pass, which is a bit stupid. I mean, what were you expecting, Xbox? I mean, obviously, like 82% of Call of Duty sales ended up being on PlayStation because I'm assuming what they were expecting was that Xbox and PC players would just buy the game anyway, not realizing it's on Game Pass, but gamers, they're not stupid. They're going to play it on Game Pass. They know. So that's kind of their fault. But the thing that really struck out to me was that suddenly really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling given that this thing was meant to be out relatively soon. Yeah, that's not good. It was one of those situations where despite folks being told, hey, we're going to pull the trigger on this in 2026, which is interesting because I think recently they said the next Xbox could be in 2027. And again, this very well could be that they're just pushing it back because if you don't know, back in February of 2024 when they did that Xbox podcast update, when people were concerned about their multi-platform future, they did say that later in the year there would be new updates on Xbox hardware, and that didn't happen. That ended up happening in the summer of 2025 when they revealed the ROG Xbox Ally. So it could just be like delayed a year. It could be. But lots of things that were sure things started getting pushed. The Costco retailer pulling Xbox, and apparently there are one of many that we'll learn about soon, told me all I needed to know. Now, that's very a big deal if more retailers are pulling out. Now, Costco, that is apparently the third largest retailer in the US, but you can't even walk in there. You actually do need a membership card to get in. It's not like one of the big three for tech, which I would say is Best Buy, Walmart, and Target. If any of those stop carrying Xbox consoles, then yeah, I would be worried. But for Costco, it's still not good, but that's not a good sign of things to come. But here's the interesting thing here. To sum it up, the future of Xbox is software publishing, with a significant honed-in focus on profitable IPs. Yeah, we kind of heard that before. Cloud gaming being the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of entry subscription for xCloud access, and the price will continue to go higher. That's a little bit alarming. That is absolutely alarming that cloud gaming is going to be the future of the Xbox platform. Hardcore Xbox fans do not want that. They do not want to play their library on the cloud. And I'll get into that later, but trust me, hardcore fans do not want to play Call of Duty on the cloud. That's very unfortunate if that ends up happening. And releasing their software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles, obviously. Maybe some OEM thing will take up the Xbox name, but given what is clearly a collapse in favor of mindshare or faith in the brand, I'm not sure. Yeah, he's not sure if OEM is going to happen. If they're pulling the plug on hardware, I would hope an OEM thing is happening, because Xbox, at least, I know it's down in the dumps, but it still has, 30 million console users, or at least 30 million sales of Xbox Series X / S, so I'm hoping they would continue, but at the same time, we don't know. So that was Sneaker OS, and now the next one is Tim Dog, who yesterday said, yeah, Xbox is just out of the hardware. So instead of being, hey, hardware might not continue, it's definitely not happening. And he said in a now deleted post that Judson Aloff, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, pulled the plug on the Xbox hardware. But that post ended up being deleted, which is a little suspect. I'm not going to lie. That is a little bit suspect, especially because he was the only one saying that hardware is outright pulled, is outright canceled. And then he also said an interesting thing. Xbox is probably not selling what's going to happen in a few things now, blah, blah, blah. Here's the interesting part. It says that hardware is now PC. So that's at least a decent part. Xbox is going deeper into the PC ecosystem. And so hopefully your PC purchases If they do pull the plug on hardware, that will continue. You'll still be able to play your Xbox PC games, so that's good. Now, whether or not that will continue to be supported with like new AAA releases launching on Xbox PC, that remains to be seen. But at least that's somewhat of a positive. And then Jez Corden, he basically said, yeah, outright, it's no. There's plans are still in place, and he did an article about it. They're just saying, no, Xbox next-gen hardware plans aren't canceled. And he brought up some good points. He says, let's put aside for a minute the fact that Xbox Game Pass remains a primary driver of revenue and is most prolific on Xbox console hardware, which is true. And that's where the bulk of the users are right now. Let's put aside the fact that Xbox cloud gaming is restricted by location and is expensive to run. Combine that with the fact that with the same silicon, you could give people their own cloud natively in their house and get them to use their own electricity to power it, like a console. It doesn't make a lot of sense on paper, but regardless, that's where we're at now. That's some pretty good counterpoints. Now, I know that I think one guy brought up he incorrectly predicted that Xbox won't be porting its console exclusives to PlayStation. Now, to be fair, that was back in December of 2023, and the big rumors of that didn't start coming until early 2024. Because that Xbox podcast, that was in mid-February. That's when it really turned up. So he may not have heard about it now. And I would say Jez is a reliable leaker or a reliable insider, because during the layoffs a couple months ago when games were getting canceled, he was one of the first to say, hey, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty sure Perfect Dark is getting canceled. I'm not necessarily sure yet, but I'll get back to you. And in 10 minutes later, he said, yeah, it's outright canceled. So he does have his sources. Now, whether those sources are hearing the same thing that these other insiders are, we don't know, but it is interesting. And it is more of a mixed bag instead of definitive that Microsoft is pulling the plug on hardware. So yeah, that's the news. And I'm not going to lie, when I heard those initial reports, my heart sunk, because Xbox is my platform. It is my favorite platform ever since, I believe, 2017 or 2018, when original Xbox games became backwards compatible, and I noticed Ninja Gaiden Black was still, was already in my library, and then I realized, oh yeah, I bought it on Xbox 360, but I didn't actually install it, but I did purchase it, and that convinced me, my digital library, I want it to be Xbox, because they honor your purchases, unlike PS5, because PS5 really doesn't do that with purchase PS3 games, they don't really do that, besides certain titles that PS1 classics that are on PS Plus. And it is my favorite console. I have nearly 400 digital owned Xbox games and nearly 300k gamer score. So I put a lot of time into this ecosystem, and people are understandably afraid, including myself, that if Xbox pulls the plug on hardware, our console library is just completely fucked. And it's interesting to think about, because I know Tim Dog basically said, hey, the console will continue to be supported through at least 2028, but if they're pulling the plug, I'm switching. There's no point in buying GTA 6, for example, if it's not going to last another 3 years, because we want to buy games to play them in perpetuity. It's a hard way to say, but yeah, we want to play them for as long as possible. And at this point, I might just have to resort to emulation, honestly. A lot of people are probably switching platforms if these rumors are true, which it is a mixed bag, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry to start buying games on other platforms. And the thing is, if you're a diehard Xbox fan and you committed so much time for this platform, you can't really switch for various reasons. Number one, obviously the money. It takes so much to, rebuy all your games again. And second, you have to start from square one because all your progress is reset. Now, the only caveat is that if you play through Steam, you can probably download a save file if it's a retro game like Resident Evil 1 or Onimusha. Yeah, you can probably download a save file, but the rest of the time you're just kind of screwed. And it is worrisome. It is very worrisome because I've spent so much time, especially with that gamer score. I mean, I've 1,000 played a lot of games, and I guess I can at least put it on record. A good video idea would be going through my true achievement list and whatever, to have that on record, but it's very tough to switch platforms. It really is, even though I own a PS5 Pro and a gaming PC. And obviously I'll own the ROG Xbox Ally when that comes out soon. And that's not even to mention the fact some of my owned digital Xbox games are delisted. So they're You can't get them anywhere else. Like Trials Evolution, that is one of my favorite games of all time. The complete game with both DLC packs, that is exclusive to Xbox, and it's delisted. Like, the only people who can play it now are the people who already own it, like me. And if Xbox pulls the plug, I'm going to have to look into emulation, maybe go into the Trials Discord and whatever. It's tough. It really is tough. Especially because it's 30 million. I mean, there's 30 million people who own that the new consoles, and the Xbox Series X is not doing like Wii U numbers. Like, it's doing much better than the Wii U, so it would be baffling for them to cut it, like that. It is baffling, I'm not gonna lie. Really hope this is not the case, but at this point I would recommend to just play it safe. I do think it's safe to say that the Xbox PC store, that'll probably last because that's not tied to a console, because consoles have licenses, which is why it is kind of debatable if those Xbox console games will be playable on PC. I'm hoping, but licenses can get in the way. But as I said before, they could do a partial list where kind of publishers opt in to having their games playable on PC. But again, for me, I'm guessing worst case scenario, maybe you just won't be able to play them at all. But the PC, I think that'll live on, because PC, that's the PC library. Now, whether or not new games will come out on Xbox PC, like Steam and GOG, or Epic Games Store, I'm not sure. So kind of adding to my gamer score through Xbox PC, I'm not entirely sure about that. And that's another thing. I'm going to be really freaking pissed off if the future of Xbox is cloud. Then I'm definitely jumping ship, because again, that's okay for like Fallout 3, New Vegas, an adventure game like The Walking Dead, not for like Call of Duty, Ninja Gaiden, or any fighting game. That was the last one. That took a long time to think about. But yeah, no hardcore Xbox fan wants to play those games on the cloud. You need that competitive advantage, which is why you need to play natively, Especially in like Black Ops 7, apparently the time to kill is pretty damn quick. So you're going to want that reaction time. You want that advantage, so you'll need to play natively. And yeah, it's unfortunate. So at this point I would recommend, again, this could not be true, potentially, but at this point, the signs are there. I would advise to be careful, so at this point, I'm probably not going to buy any new Xbox console games anyway. If it's like Xbox Play Anywhere, and if it's on Xbox PC, sure, because that will probably last, but I would recommend probably switching to PC or PlayStation. I mean, I was already planning to do that with buying more games on PlayStation. I was going to buy the new Onimusha there. I was going to buy Pragmata. But I was planning, on buying Resident Evil Requiem on Xbox, but with these leaks, I might just buy it either on PlayStation or Steam. I'll probably buy it on Steam because of the mod capability. I'll get the big titty mod and play it through there. That's good. I do want to play more games like mod capabilities. I'll probably buy more of those on PC, but yeah, so just be careful. I would not buy any more Xbox console games at this point. You can still sub to Game Pass. There's some really killer games, Ninja Gaiden 4, Black Ops 7, and Keeper, that's coming out. But yeah, so unless a new console is announced, maybe at the Game Awards or their June conference, then maybe you can continue to buy games. But even then, I would be careful, because it is very likely that the next Xbox console could be the last one. So yeah, it's unfortunate. And keep in mind, it's 20 years. The Xbox 360 ecosystem, the Xbox ecosystem has been around for 20 years, since the 360 marketplace. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of playtime, a lot of investment. I mean, that is much bigger than like any other storefront. Like Stadia, for example, that closed down. That only lasted like a little over 3 years. And obviously, with that time, Google could afford to like pay all their games back, refund everybody. That's not the case. That's not the case with Xbox. 20 years, all the gamer score is pretty devastating. So, yeah. So comment down below, what do you think about this news? It's pretty unfortunate, and I'm definitely going to be more selective about the games I buy at this point, even if, it is debatable. So anyway, that's about it. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. It is unfortunate that all these bad Xbox news keep coming up, because I've been planning for a Silent Hill ranking list for quite a while now, but it keeps getting pushed back, because obviously these Xbox news takes center stage. But yeah, see you guys later.